So, if we're to have a story, first thing being first, we must have a
pirate? Poetess?
Protagonist! Who shall be our heroine? Shall it be one of your sisters? Shall it be Lorena? Shall it be Edith?
Me!
Why you then, Alice?
Because I am their dream child. Because they're so awfully silly. And I'm not. We understand each other, Mr. Dodgson.
Like two cryptographers unlocking the same secret.
Oh, I don't know that word.
That's a word you learn in Word 11, along with crepuscular and cantilevered. So if we can't be cryptographers, perhaps we best be polar explorers, roped together, lest a crevasse or a snow blindness make us lose our way.
I don't see how one can become blind in snow. I can see losing your way in a cave or at the bottom of the sea.
Or remember, I wonder if we'll lose our way someday, Alice.
I think that would depend on where we're going in the first place.
You aren't that clever.
It's a very simple thing to get lost, you know. You glance around and suddenly everything's changed and nothing's like it was, not even you in the looking glass. Who you thought you were, you're not. And you don't even have to be exploring the same continent either. You can lose your way right here in Oxford if you're not careful, right over that hedge.
Or down that rabbit hole.
You didn't bait him like that.
So imagine a day like this, and a girl like you, and a sister like Lorena, you find yourself on the riverbank, and perhaps you've had one too many jam tots this morning, so you're ever so soporific, which is a 12-year-old word in truth. So there's a rabbit hole nearby on this particular peculiar day, and you fall asleep.
The maladroit stutter, the slanting body, the dreadful shyness all disappeared. That afternoon, that golden afternoon when I was 10, and we went up the river with my sisters, and we were in the shadow of a haycock because it was blazing hot. And he told the story of Alice Underground, my story, which would have died like one of the summer midges, like all the others. Except this time, I told him to write it down because I was the heroine. That day he was beautiful. That day he had all he needed. He had his story.
But what man can live on words?
He was a writer.
He was a man.
Not much of one. Not the way I've come to know men, adult men. He was a perpetual child.
There's no such thing.
You didn't know him.
Did you?
For several years, he was at the very center of our lives.
The center of your life.
Yes. He'd tell us his stories on the green or rowing on the river, and then off he'd go and let us dream about them.
And where did he go?
I beg you?
When he left you, where did he go? What did he do?
I don't know. I assume he returned home and went on with his life.
No, you were his life. It's just like Barry with us. You weren't a dream child. You were a child of flesh and bone. He looked into your eyes and you looked back.
Oh. 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 He looked back. Oh. He looked back at me. Oh. He had friends of his own. He had an important career. 3 adolescent girls, all giggles and elbows. I'm sure he was happy to go home and forget us.
No. Grown men do not return home and go on with their lives. That is what children do. Children pass gaily through life with no sense of weight of events. Grown-ups look in the mirror and then they look at the clock. They walk into an empty house that seems emptier every day that passes, for it brings them ever closer to that final and inescapable loneliness. That last echoing room where they are truly alone. There are no simple childhood memories, Mrs. Hargreaves, I told you. It's all complicated. Everything's included.
How do you know he was lonely?
Ah, if he were not, would he have loved you so much?
How do you know he loved me?
Would he have written a book otherwise?
So, it's to be a love story.
Aren't they all?
No, Peter, you're wrong. There's no love in it, no romance, I can promise you that. There's not a dot of love or moonlight to be had except for that moon which can be glimpsed at dead midnight over that Highburn gallows after those bloodthirsty brigands have met their end and swayed from the gibbet. Gather round, lads, here at Black Lake Cottage. There's a lake which you'll not be surprised to learn is black. But do you know why it is black? Not the murkiness of it, though tolerable murky it is, not the depth of it, where no light can pass, though deep it is. It's black from all the souls of dead men trapped at the bottom. It's been blackened by wickedness, by them that walked the plank, that felt the touch of the cat, that had their throats slit by the fearsome captain afore his breakfast. What's his name again?
I can't remember.
You mean you can't forget?
What's his name again, Peter?
Really, I don't...
You do!
Come on now, feel the spray of the ocean like you used to when you were a boy, when you wanted to sail the seas on a triple master, like every boy does. To see the world, to have adventures, to fly and fight and try again. What's his name? That piratical gentleman who has quaking under the covers at night. Look! Yes! Look! Now you're with me and you're on the deck of the mighty galleon, lad, as it rolls and pitches, and we're lashed to the wheel together, lad, through the cataract. Come on! Until the maelstrom passes!
Do you feel your heart pounding?
Yes, like racing passion, like love.
Be free and young forever! Can't help yourself.
You get caught up.
I know.
You can't breathe.
You don't want to.
That's the power of these writers. These men of words, trapped, baited, and sprung, and before you know it, you have to chew your leg off to get free.
In truth, he was a little man.
Not when you told his stories.
I met him at a reception once, and found him so terribly diminutive. Famous people should not be so tiny. It seems dishonest.
From the first day, it was all words. My brothers and I were playing at the park, and suddenly the most enormous dog came bounding over. This dog, Porthos, like a lure it was.
There's that trap again.
How he enmeshed himself in our lives. Before we knew it, he was coming home with us, staying for supper. He seemed to think it was right. He just acquired us. My father was so uncomfortable with him, fully aware he was being supplanted, but what was he to do? My mother loved him, as did we boys. Snap, the trap was sprung. You played mesmerized us.
I made you famous.
I didn't ask for it!
Didn't you?
For God's sakes, I was a child. I didn't know anything.
You listened. You loved. You sparkled for him. You wanted him to look at you most, to look at you longest, to love you best.
You're my favorite, Alice. You'll always be my favorite.
Your brothers were rivals.
We were sisters.
Yes.
It wasn't that way with us. We were a band of brothers.
My lost boys!
I can see the five of you, each craning over the other, crawling over his lap like puppies, whose eye will he catch, will make him smile today.
Michael.
What?
It was Michael. He always liked Michael best. Uncle Jim always said he made Peter Pan by rubbing the five of us violently together. As two savages with sticks produce a flame, but that's not true. It was Michael. Bold and fearless Michael. I wasn't bold, I always had fear.
Of what?
What does every child fear? Captain Hook.
The character?
The idea. It means something different to every child, I suppose. For me, it was no more summers of pirate yarns and playing in the grass. My brothers moving away, getting separated. But not being my brothers anymore, being someone else's husband or father, but not my brothers. My mother, father, no more. Just me. That's part of growing up, isn't it? Learning to name the thing you fear. Captain Hook.
Old Red Queen!
Children's stories can't hurt you.
You know better.
They don't exist. There is no Captain Hook.
Are you sure? Don't you sometimes feel him? When you're alone in a dark room, the point of his hook touching the back of your neck.
They can't hurt you. Not once you've grown up.
But Alice, you must promise me never to grow up. Promise me.
Really? How can I help from growing up?
Ah, the question of the ages. We'll have to ask a wise old tortoise to find the answer. Shall we stroll?